What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some more content for you guys surrounding the tour out in New Zealand at this moment in time. They're obviously following on to Australia. We're going to be reacting to the press conference from Roberto De Zerbi and Andy Robertson today. But how are we doing, Mr. Brian Daigle?
Mr. Daniel, I am very, very good, thank you. I hope everyone in the We Are Tottenham family are as well. And it's great to be able to be back on the channel and spending time with you, brother.
Absolutely. And, you know, some big words said by Roberto De Zerbi and Andy Robertson in this press conference. So let's get straight into it. So he was asked about what it's like to travel so far for a game, and asked what's the longest he's ever traveled. And he said, it's the longest trip for sure, but listen, football in this part of history is like this because of a lot of important clubs. They go in the pre-season in this type of tournament. We accept to do that, but anyway, we can't lose our focus. Our focus is the beginning of the Premier League to improve the physical condition of the players, the young players. They come inside our methodology of our style of play. We have no excuse, but it was a long trip and we have to manage that in the best way. So I guess that's what kind of Ali Gold maybe might have been alluding to, that Spurs were going to play a young team going into this game. Do you think this this pre-match tour was planned for Ange Postecoglou? It must have been, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But, I mean, we announced this. That obviously Spurs are way ahead. It's when they announced it. First of all, I do want to say I want to start using that word methodology rather than the other words that are used. What a word that is. But he's nailed everything, hasn't he?
Yeah.
With what
he speaks
said.
So well, doesn't he? He speaks so well.
He does. I mean, just the way he's saying it, like this is the Premier League is the focus. This is what we're getting ready for. The youngsters that are coming in. We're hearing things that we wanted to hear for a long, long time. I know this is just pre-season press conferences, but like you said, you believe and buy into every word he's saying, don't you? You're like, literally, okay, he said it, I'm with it. But it's an interesting thing. Was it for Ange? But I don't know. You look at Frank was here last summer, and we're going here. We're not going to Korea or anything this year, are we? Which is normally because some. Maybe, brother, maybe.
I think I'm ready to run through a brick wall for Roberto De Zerbi. So God knows what these players are like right now in training. He was asked about the team that we're facing. He says you're going to be taking on Auckland FC currently without a manager. I didn't know that. How are you going to approach a game like this? And he says, sometimes, in football, it's better if you are not a coach. You have to ask the players if he's better or worse. I know they won the last New Zealand league game. The last New Zealand league, so currently New Zealand champions. For sure, they want to show they are good players. It will be a good game because we play with the best team we can put out tomorrow. A lot of young players for sure, because we have many players who finished the World Cup. We don't take risks. I have to repeat about the injuries, but for us, it's a serious game for sure. So De Zerbi taking this game very seriously, he says.
He is, but it's great to hear him addressing that he doesn't want to risk injuries. He knows what this club has been through for the last few years. He understands the travel that a lot of our players have had to do and then the long flight they've had to get where they are now. And he's not prepared to take risks with their health, with their well-being. So that's great to hear. But they don't have a manager. I don't know why, but Spurs, when they're abroad, like to put in performances when a manager's in prison and other certain things. So we'll see what holds and what goes on. But I do love what he's saying. I really do. I haven't seen the press conference personally, so hearing these quotes from what you're reading out, it's just great to hear.
And he's asked, how much is this game almost a trial for some of the younger players? And he says, it's important because football for me is important the name, it's important the career, but it's also important what I can watch on the game, during the game. We're all at the same place, the same point, especially for the young guys. I want to play like a normal game because if we are here, it's because we want to play well. We want to play seriously, no excuses, no friendly game, a normal game. So he's saying there's no such thing as a friendly for Roberto De Zerbi. He is going to go in full power trying to get the win tomorrow or tonight.
Yeah, he's going to go for that. But also, again, what is great to hear is he's talking about, he is giving the youngsters, there's a lot of talk right now with Spurs and selling the future and whatever. And I think it's because we're acting the manner that we are this summer compared to previous summers. It looks like he is going to give the youngsters their fair minutes. He's going to be able to assess and watch closely what they're doing and how they're acting amongst the training, the camp. And again, I do believe that he is going to see the youngsters, see what they have to offer, and give them those minutes that he will then be able to say, right, I can see a pathway with me, with you, and go from there. But if he wants to say there's no friendlies, then people get ready for war.
You know, like you mentioned about this narrative around De Zerbi and about what we're trying to do this summer, and a lot of young players going so far. Roberto De Zerbi has given minutes to young players in every single job that he's been at, from Sassuolo to Brighton to Marseille. I mean, the very youngest players coming at Marseille, and he made a host of signings there, but still found time to give young players minutes, and quite a lot of them as well. So that's what excites me, because you look at the likes of like Luca Williams-Barnett, Junaid Baifel, Callum Olasesi, Mikey Moore. You know, the list goes on. We've got so much young talent at the football club. So I mean, all this stuff about selling the youth and selling our future, I think it's complete rubbish. He's selling the ones that we could get a very good deal with, and that maybe he doesn't see a future with.
Exactly. We're seeing it now for his style of play. We're literally listening to what the manager says. This player may be very good, but he does not fit the mould that De Zerbi wants. So we'll get you out and get some money so we can bring in players that do fit it. And I think as well, you look at when Poch came in, we'd seen that he'd done it at Southampton. If you look back in time and saw with Espanyol, he always used to, he said, it's my aim to bring as many youngsters through that represent this football club. And he did that. And like I said, there seems to be a cloud over saying De Zerbi doesn't give a youth a chance, where he bloody well does. I think this is more because of the manner that we're actually dealing with things this summer as a club, and he's at the helm. That is what's getting the big media draw, fan discussions about selling the future.
Yeah. Next, he was asked, the club has been very decisive in the transfer window, spent big money early. How important has it been to get these players in quickly in pre-season? And what else do you want to happen? And he says, first of all, I think it's not finished yet, our transfer window. We have to finish. We have to bring in another couple, maybe more, maybe not less. Maybe not less, but a couple of players. I'm very happy. I'm excited to work with the new players, with the old players. I think we are working very well with Johan and Vinay. We are working with a clear idea. We brought players with a great experience like Robbo. I think we need this type of players because we need to increase the experience. We have to improve in mentality. We have to be stronger, because in the last 2 seasons, we did not do what Tottenham has to do. At the end of the transfer market, we will make the point to close the transfer market session. But at the moment, I'm very excited. So he's saying Tottenham are not done yet in the market. It sounds like he's saying there's going to be a minimum 2, but hopefully more.
Yeah, and hopefully, if that was to be any two, it's the left winger and the striker for me. I think for a lot of Spurs fans as well, those are the 2 vital areas that need upgrading, and not just simply upgrading, a massive upgrade. And it does sound like he said he's excited. The players we've brought in, any manager would be excited. During any manager's previous tenure, if we're bringing in that kind of quality, you could not be excited by going into this, and players coming out. The longer this goes on that we don't address the left wing and the striker, the more it's going to rumble on like, oh my God, nothing's changed, whatever. I have full faith that a left winger and a striker of quality is coming in. And sounds like De Zerbi does as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And he goes more into it now, because he was asked, you've improved the defence in the window. You've got 2 midfielders. Is it fair to say the attack is the next on the list? And he says, yes, that's the target now, is to complete the attacking options. We want the first target, the first level, because we already have important players. But I think to start a new project, we need another couple of important players for sure. So he's saying, you know, like in previous times, we've always gone for the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th option. Yep. He wants the first target. He wants the first option. He wants that first name on the list to come in and complete the attacking lineup.
Yeah, completely. And we all know where we've been left short in previous years. And obviously, from losing the great man Harry Kane and not anywhere near replacing him. You can see where and obviously Sonny going, we can see where these core areas that need addressing are. We normally do as Spurs fan. It normally sticks out like a sore thumb. And like you said, how many times we get the third or fourth option, and then the following window we go get the third or fourth option of the third or fourth option. And so far this season, who Spurs have seriously wanted, Spurs have gone and got.
Yeah.
And that has given me and Spurs fans a hope and a optimism that these things will continue. And let's hope they do.
Now, it gets interesting because he was asked about specific players. He said, Lucas Bergvall has been linked with a move away all summer. Does the fact that he's on the tour tell us anything about his future? And he says, listen, I was very clear at the start of my time in Tottenham. I said, who doesn't want to stay in Tottenham? Who is not happy? Who is not proud to stay here has to leave. I want proud players who are happy to stay here and go out on the pitch at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with a big motivation. If you think also in the World Cup, the motivation makes the difference. The motivation is to be happy to stay in one team. I have not spoken to Lucas yet. I will be in the next days, and we will make the best decision for the club, for Lucas and for me, for everyone with us. Without problems, Lucas is a big talent. There'll be a big competition to play because at the end, I think we'll be 2 players for each position. If he wants to stay, I'll be happy. Otherwise, we have to find a solution with Johan and Vinay. It's not my business after the decision to leave. So there's been a lot said about Lucas Bergvall, obviously, over the course of the summer. He went on the tour and Rodrigo Bentancur and Pape Matar were obviously left at home given extended leave. People were saying after that, maybe Lucas is staying. After hearing what Roberto has said there, what do you think?
First of all, I just want to say well done to Roberto for the beginning, to Zerbi for the beginning bit, about saying who's not happy, who's not proud. And again, we've experienced these issues before where getting players out the door have been like a bad toothache, trying to get it out. You just cannot get them out of the club for love nor money. Again, this window has been very different. So I think it's a very, very bold statement from De Zerbi, one that I love and hope to hear more regularly about the way we are dealing with players that aren't happy. I think he's there to try and I literally think he's there and he'll play to try and get to that 60 million, to try and have a good game against an Auckland or whatever. It'll go, oh yeah, let's up that offer to 60. I think he's there to showcase him, to what's it called, to manage his exit.
Put him in the shop window, I guess.
Yeah. Get them, coach them out, and say, "Yep, you've played well." And then obviously everyone will go, "Oh my God, look at Lucas Bergvall," and they'll be like, "Right, we need to get him in." I think he's gone, but I love, like I said, what De Zerbi said at the beginning. Fantastic, and what you want to hear.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that what he said there, he's asked about Lucas Bergvall and he's first away said, if you don't want to be here, then don't be here, basically. And it's already been said by Ornstein, by other reliable journalists, that Lucas Bergvall has basically requested to leave and is open and wants to go somewhere to play more regularly. So I think it's pretty simple from what De Zerbi's saying. I don't think Lucas Bergvall will be here next season. So it's a bit surprising.
This season,
not
next
yeah.
season.
This coming season, yeah. But I don't think that. I find it strange. Then he's on the tour. Do you not find it strange he's on the tour?
Like I said, I think the only reason is so he gets a couple of games in and can the other clubs can see and go, do you know what? We're apparently they've been close to what Spurs are asking. Maybe this will alert them and say, right, we need to wrap this up, get it done before others jump in or before whatever. So I think he's there to just be put in the shop window, like you said.
Then he was asked about Bentancur and Sarr, and he says, why were Bentancur and Sarr given more time off? And he says, Bentancur is a crucial pair for us, and Pape Sarr the same. I spoke after the World Cup with the players, and for every one of them, we take different ways. Bentancur asked me for 1 week more because he suffered a very tough season last season. And Pape Sarr has a personal problem, and he asked me for 1 more week. But no problem, nothing more than I said. So, I mean, I find that very very strange. Like Bentancur asking for an extra week off. Maybe if Sarr has personal problems, you can understand that. But Bentancur saying he wanted a week off because he had a very difficult season. What is that all about?
That is, first of all, I completely agree with you, Pape Matar. If he's got a personal issue, whether it be family, his own, whatever, wish him well, and that's understandable. But for a seasoned, experienced player who is a regular for his country, who's been at a World Cup, who has, remember, had a lot of time last season out injured, to turn around and ask for an extra week off because he's had a hard season. Well, every single other player that was here last season that is there now on tour had a bloody hard season. And you can replace the word hard for poor. If we're going to be honest, I don't like this one bit. And I think, again, there's certain things in the club they keep private, but maybe Zerbi has said this to say, right, I think your time's done as well. And for saying things like that, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah, I think it's very peculiar. It doesn't. Maybe the writing's on the wall for Bentancur. Maybe the writing on the wall for Bergvall, and we'll look to bring in another midfielder. Don't get too excited. It could be Alex Scott. You never know. Yeah, I just find that very peculiar that Bentancur has asked for an extra week off. Very strange. Yep. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Bentancur is angling for a move, or we're looking to move Rodrigo Bentancur out of the club? He was then asked about the exciting young prospects. He says, you've got exciting young players at the club like Luca Williams-Barnett. Is this an opportunity to look at players like him? And how excited are you about him and others? And he says, I'm used to working with young players. I gave in my career a big time and space for young players, but they have to show me they are able to play. They are good players. I never start from the age of players. From the qualities, yes. From the attitude and behaviors, yes, but never from the age. And that's music to my ears, because if it's all about if you're good enough, you're old enough. And I think some managers just put too much focus on what age they are before maybe drafting them in. And obviously you've still got to be careful of them because of the age, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get minutes. And I think maybe Zerbi recognises that.
Yeah, I'll just put on top of that. But it's not just about if you're good enough, you're old enough. I think what we're seeing as well is he wants the youngster. It doesn't matter if you're a good player, but if you don't fit into a system, I don't want you sitting here stagnating, sending you out on loan, losing value, and then whatever. Like Lancashire, who you and I are a fan of, obviously did not suit his way. Apparently, Lancashire was getting a little bit restless. Good money comes in, exceptional money for what he's done. And Zerbi's like, right, off you go, with my blessing. And it's getting players out the door that don't fit his system. So players that he's giving moments to, or minutes to, sorry, it's their opportunity to show, look, I can fit in your system. I am a player to be kept, whether they go out on loan. But again, I think what he's just said there, as we discussed earlier, I think he's just poured cold water over this. I don't play youngsters. I don't give youngsters time, and it's good to hear him say it.
Then asked about Kulusevski and Kudus, and he says, you've kept Kudus and Kulusevski at Hotspur way to continue their rehabilitation. How close are they to returning? And Vicario. And then he just went, and Vicario, because Vicario has an injury. Not a big injury, but he needs to stay 1 week in London. So I was like, I ain't buying that Vicario injury. Not one bit. Not one bit. But then he was asked, but how close are Kudus and Kulusevski? And he says, Kudus is very close. I think when we come back to London, he'll be available to start work with us. It is a great thing for us because Kudus is another important player. And Kulusevski we'll have to see in the next couple of weeks. He's another important player. But after one complete season without games, we have to analyse better and don't take risks for sure. First of all for him and then for us. So obviously massive plus on Mohamed Kudus. Once we get back to London, we'll start seeing him on the pitch in the build up to the season. But again, no real time frame on Kulusevski or anything like that.
Well, when we last spoke, when we did the update before the Milton Keynes game, they said the first half of the year, or season, should we say, and then they've gone to we're assessing in a couple of weeks. Now we've heard with Kulusevski, we'll assess it in a couple of weeks. He's had an injection, we'll see in a few weeks. So we'll wait and see. As for Mohamed Kudus, I think it's the right thing not taking him on tour. Like we were talking about all this travelling and flying. Why when he hasn't played since January, isn't it? It was January or December. But he hasn't played. Why send him all the way to Australia and New Zealand and then fly all the way back? Let him continue his rehabilitation at home so he's fitter, stronger, hungrier, and ready to start the new season, which is the most important thing.
Absolutely spot on. And I think, some really interesting things in there from Roberto De Zerbi. He speaks so well, and I think he represents the club so well as well. So fantastic stuff. Looking forward to the next one. He had alongside him Andy Robertson at the press conference. The first time we've heard properly from him, and the first question he was asked is, what's it like for you coming all this way? It's a massive move for you coming from a club after so long at Liverpool. How are you feeling about things in general? It's not like he was going to say in the press conference, yeah, it's fucking shit here. But he said, yeah, good. Obviously, it was a long trip. I got to know my new teammates probably a bit better. Obviously, with the challenge ahead, I'm excited. It's a new challenge that I needed. Obviously, I had a massive summer ahead of me with the World Cup and things like that. But once that was over, my full focus was on Tottenham and trying to get a good season with them. It's just now about getting the fitness, getting ready to play games and getting yourself in the best possible shape, learning the way the manager and the coach wants to play. That will all be in a lot better place come the start of the season. So, I mean, you don't expect nothing else but top mentality from Andy Robertson.
Yeah, and I will say, just to pick you out on that, I'm sure you spoke about it with Simeon or during the week. I caught up and watched all his first interviews and questions and whatever, and when Spurs did the bit about his first day, like you just said, with that interview or that first comment, you just see the model professional. You see the mentality and the attributes and the experience in what he's saying and how he's saying it and what he wants to bring to this team. He gets it, and obviously this is something we have been lacking. So hearing a comment like that kind of question is just a template to him. He can do that, answer that one on autopilot with his experience, can't he?
Yeah, exactly. He was also asked about, he says, you're used to having a lot of competition, especially at Liverpool, but now you've got a doggy, Spence, doing so well on the left at the World Cup. You've got Sousa, Ben Davis. How strong is this squad, and how confident are you to still take that place on the left? And he says, you go to a big club. So he says, you go to big clubs and you look at all big clubs. You don't have it easy in any position. The club, the manager, the people above are trying to create a squad where there's competition in every position. You don't stay at the top, and you don't play for big clubs if you're not ready to compete for positions. If you're not ready to fight for your positions, that goes for everyone. It goes for everyone in the squad. If more new players come in, all the new players, everyone going to need to play for fight for their place. For me, that's something I've been used to the last 9 years. It's something I'll be used to until my career ends. So nothing new for me. The quality of player in this squad is very good. If we can just get more out of it, then like the man just said, the last 2 seasons of the Premier League haven't been up to scratch for Tottenham, and they've been down at the wrong end of the table. I think everyone's determined to not make that happen again this season. As long as everyone's building in the same direction, everyone's competing, then I think we've got a squad that can be a lot higher up than when we were down there. So, I mean, again, like model professional, he's not going to shy away from competition, isn't he? He's a fighter, Andy Robertson, and he's right. I think he's probably got more competition here at Tottenham at left back than he's probably ever had at Liverpool. Obviously, last year he was fighting with Kirkes, but before then it was like Tsimikas and a few other guys. So he's probably got more competition here than he ever has done.
And you know what? The great thing about this, whether people pro Andy Robertson signing or not because of his age and saying he's on the decline or whatever it may be, as you and I were saying that he's on the decline, the one thing that is great to see at Tottenham right now is for the first time in a while, there is genuine competition for places. How long have we had it that doesn't matter how bad you play, you're going to play the next game because you're the best that we've got? To see that's genuine competition, and we see how De Zerbi is, the hunger. And you see in training with the new games that he's playing with, they're trying to get each other's on. There's just a buzz, there's just an engagement, there's just a drive So him having competition for places, he's a great person to have there to make it even more fiery, to make it like this is what we do at this football club, and drum it into them. So it's again the professional answer, but it's great to see that there is genuine challenges for positions in the starting lineup.
Yeah. He was then asked, do you feel it's going to be something different now? What was sold to you? A refresh for the club? And he says different. Yes, of course, because last season, I think everyone will admit it was too close for comfort. I think for me, when I've been in the Premier League, Tottenham Hotspur have always been up the other end of the table, competing and being in the Champions League and being in Europe. For me, that's what the fans expect. That's what the people in the club expect, and that's what the manager expects. I also think that's what the players expect as well. So it's up to us to try and make that happen. It's up to us to try and use this pre-season to build towards that and hopefully have a lot better Premier League season than we've done in the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, what you expected to say once again.
Yeah, it is what you expect him to say. And obviously, again, if you listen to or people watch that interview and said, what brought him to Spurs, he said he has some great chats with the manager. He also went on about how it's meant to happen in January, didn't he? But for whatever reason, it may have been, it didn't happen. But he said, I spoke to the manager. The Zerbi pull that we speak about or whatever really has got something, and it's got them chomping at the bit. And again, this is what we've been lacking. Andy Robertson will know, like, you're 32 years old now, you're going to have competition, but it's great to just hear him off the back coming out with these quotes.
Yeah. And yeah, the other stuff was just about not much, to be honest. So I think we can skip past that. So look, good words from Andy Robertson, very professional, level-headed as always. But I guess the key takeaways are going to be from that Roberto De Zerbi press conference. So let us know your takeaways from that. I thought it was very interesting what he's saying about Bentancur and Lucas Bergvall, and particularly trying to integrate some young players as well. So, yeah, interesting stuff. All roads lead to that game now. 4 a.m. kickoff against Auckland. I'll be there for the watch along tonight, so come and join me. But Daigle, thank you very much for joining me today, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.